Whether this is your first cat or whether you have had a cat for your entire life, a lot of clients will often ask me, what do I feel are pretty much the prerequisite things that you need in order for a cat to have a good quality of life and for you to have a great relationship with your animal? First thing I'd like to start off with is usually the most important, usually the most obvious. Litter box. If you have a litter box, best thing to do is make sure your cat enjoys that particular litter box. A lot of cats won't like certain types. For example, my cat doesn't really like one that has a cover. So if you have a litter box that is something like this, which is a good size for your animal, he can fit inside, turn around. For the most part, this will work very well. But definitely keep in mind that your animal may have certain preferences and try and pay attention to what he wants. Some cats don't necessarily like this type of litter. They may like a clay-based litter, or they may like paper, something like that. And I think that it's definitely good to keep in mind that your cat is not going to also like the same thing for its entire life. So they may change over time. Good litter box is one of the most important things to have. As a general rule, however many cats you have, try and have +1 as a number of litter boxes. 1 cat, 2 litter boxes, so on and so forth. Another good thing to have is more for the environment that your cat is living in as opposed to just a litter box, is a scratching post. This is a great item, which will save you a lot of headache when it comes to yelling at your cats for scratching on things you don't want them to scratch on. And it will also be a wonderful thing that a cat can play with when you are not around. A carrier is also very important. You're going to want to have a carrier that is big enough for your cat to stand up, turn around, and have some mobility in. Also, a cat carrier that has the ability to have perhaps a water bowl or a food dish put inside, really good idea as well. So something similar to this is a really good idea. Now, Rudy is a pretty big cat, so this is a little bit of a bigger carrier, but they do come in all sizes, even different shapes. Cat strollers, anything you could think of as a way to transport your animal are really good ideas. Great thing to have as well is a pretty durable scoop for your litter box. Something that you're going to be able to easily clean, easily be able to remove any old fecal or urine matter, because you don't want to be putting a dirty one in every single time, because cats have a wonderful sense of smell, and they will be able to definitely pick up on small little bits of poop or urine that's left behind. Another thing that you want to have for cats, as far as their environment, is you want to have toys. It's one thing to basically just have a cat with a litter box and a carrier and they don't really do much all day, but you want to be able to give them some form of stimulus. So you can have a wide variety of toys that are available now. This is one of my favorites, just a little toy mouse on a string, and you just play with it, and every time it moves, it gives you a little bit of a squeak. Cats really like these, and I think these are great products. Most cats will enjoy them thoroughly. You also can have little pet mice. My cats will never let this ever stop from being batted around the house. They will go crazy with these all day long. So of all the things, I think these are actually my favorites. Catnip should be in every cat owner's house. Most cats will respond to it, some will not, but if your cat does respond to it, this is a great way to very quick, very easily brighten up their day, and you yourself can also laugh at the reaction that your cat will be showing you, because it's pretty entertaining. One of the things, which is not necessarily the most important, but certainly something I like to discuss with all of my clients. We brush our teeth twice a day, we floss, and we eat relatively healthy, and we still have to go to the dentist on a regular basis to make sure we're doing okay in our mouth. Cats don't do any of those, so the most important thing is to try and get them acclimated to them having their teeth brushed by you, maybe once or twice a week. Every day would be amazing. If you only do it once or twice a week, it doesn't really provide much clinical benefit, but it's a start, so you can build your way up to the 5, 6, and eventually the daily brushing that is required. Another good thing that we should talk about are the type and the size of the food bowls that you use. If you have a smaller cat, or a cat that has very long whiskers, what I recommend is to not have gigantic food bowls. If a food bowl has the ability to touch a cat's whiskers, sometimes it can actually cause them to not like that bowl. Anything that touches their whiskers, sometimes cats don't respond very well. So try and have a little bit of a flatter bowl or something where they definitely can get their snout in without having to have their whiskers touch. The type of bowl that I recommend as far as what it is composed of is always stainless steel. If you have ceramic or plastic, you probably will have a little bit more of an issue, perhaps with feline acne, as they will have a much higher bacterial count. Stainless steel is the best. They should definitely be washed under a hot cycle in the dishwasher at least once a week, or washed under hot water if you don't have a dishwasher. You should have a separate bowl for food and a separate bowl for water, and they should at least be cleaned every day as well. Not thoroughly washed, but they should be cleaned. The last thing I'd like to discuss with you is a cat's collar. Collars are very important. Even if your animal is indoors only, they still should have some form of identification. If you have a collar, most people are familiar with dog collars, which is very much like a belt that goes around your waist. They'll have a little loop with holes, and you want to have a little fastener, and basically what you want to do is just attach it so it's not too tight and make sure it's basically a good snug fit. You want to be able to fit 2 fingers underneath the collar and the neck, so it should be able to fit in between. The one thing that is important though, that is very different from cats and other animals' collars, is cats require a breakaway collar or a collar that has a portion of elastic on it, such as this, so that if anything happens and your cat gets caught up on something, they will have the ability to either have the collar break away or they can get out from underneath the collar. Because sometimes there are some stories that cats can actually strangle themselves because they get stuck on something and it's the collar that is the cause. So please make sure that your cat has a collar that is able to be broken away or able to have an elastic stretch capability.